attack. You know, if you get that set up, boosting that critical hit chance on the already boosted Ivy Cudgel, it's very dangerous, especially if your opponent is trying to
sogar Musik, das ist ja der Wahnsinn.
It isn't going to make any difference if you're just critical hitting every turn.
Okay. Very true. So let's jump into Swiss round 6 here at EUIC. Arash Ommati leading out with the Raging Bolt, paired up with Clefairy. On the opposing side, Alex leading strong and offensive with the Incineroar and Urshifu.
Yeah, nice lead here from Alex. Pretty easy where he's got the fake out support here to prevent anything from attacking in this turn and just free up a bit of room for the Urshifu.
Geh rein in die Wette, Chat. Danke, Bayer.
Off here into either of these targets. Of course, has to worry about both of the threats from an electric point of view from that Raging Bolt and the Clefairy that doesn't have an attacking option, so you don't really need to worry about that. Only the Raging Bolt this turn because that is going to threaten heavily. But we are
Clefairy, Raging Bolt, sehen wir Thunderclap auf Urshifu, Instant.
Tries to go for an attack, maybe protects here while the Rillaboom comes onto the field.
I guess you're switching out that defensive support in the way of having a fake in the following turn. Incineroar on Alex's side just locks down that opposing Raging Bolt as Urshifu tries to go for these surging strikes into the Clefairy. A fantastic switch. In this Rillaboom that is not going to mind taking these at all. The wonderful thing now for Arash as well is Rillaboom's got safely onto the field. You can have fake out pressure in the next turn, or you could even go bold and go for something like the Grassy Glide straight into that opposing Urshifu.
Yeah, and the Urshifu is in a position now where it really does want to switch out. It is pressured from both sides of the field here. Like you say, you've got that Grassy Glide pressure. You don't really want to leave and not get any return from your Urshifu. So it's likely here that Alex does switch it out. Could he maybe...
Wait, Dave, du hast das goldene Kappa? Hä?
No switches. Alex actually going strong here with the fire type on the Urshifu. It doesn't have the capability to switch out with something like a U-turn, so if it's going to stay on the field, let's give it a little bit
Okay.
Urshifu goes straight for the close combat, fastest thing on the
Einmal,
field.
also jeden Tag hat irgendein random Twitch-User, nee, ich glaube, es gibt nur eine Person auf ganz Twitch jeden Tag, die das goldene Kappa hat. Das ist crazy. Junge Dave, Shiny Hunting sogar auf Twitch.
Attacking moves, especially because it has had the booster energy already, so
kind of
keeping that in check so it's not hitting as hard. And now you're getting the Chen out onto the field. You're in a really great position here if you are Alex.
Bekommt man, wenn man einem goldenen Hype-Train beteiligt ist. Hatte ich auch schon mal einen Tag lang. Oh, es ist, als ob es wurde das geändert.
Exactly, and Alex in such a commanding position here on the speed side of things as well. We saw how speedy that Urshifu was. Raging Bolt would have to go for something like the Thunderclap to get that priority, and at the same time Chi and Pao so
aber trotzdem cool.
And offensive, able to go for something like the Icicle Crash straight into Rillaboom, and with
Früher war das besser.
Ruin on the field as well. That's going to be dropping the defenses of these Pokemon.
Yeah, and I think as well, if you are the Raging Bolt, if you do decide to go for that Thunderclap that Arash looks like he may be thinking about here, you've got to be very careful around the Chen Pao on Alex's side of the field.
Aber trotzdem nice.
He has got access to Sucker Punch and could be in range of a Sucker Punch taking it down. So you've got to be very careful from here, but we're not going to see that this turn. Alex is preserving that till later on this game.
Sieht so wild aus.
Back onto the field.
I like how Chi kind of there as temptation. And actually, it's just been switched out for the intimidating Incineroar. That's really going to put a spanner in the works for the opposing Rillaboom. But thankfully for Arash, he gets it out of there, bringing that Clefairy back in to bring
immer den golden Kappa-Check, immer.
Raging Bolt out a little bit.
And the Friend God's going to be so useful here. Doesn't have to worry about that Sucker Punch anymore, but does have to worry about a close combat. We know the speed interactions here between the Raging Bolt and the Urshifu. The Raging Bolt now
sehen wir Thunderclap oder Big T-Bolt? Okay, wie viel macht er? Oh, mit dem Crit! Alex nicht so happy.
That is so unfortunate. I don't know if it mattered. It feels like it would have mattered.
Damn.
Had taken a defense drop already. The Raging Bolt had been checked by the parting shot from
das im Regenstream weiß ich.
So you've got to think very close, but the critical hit sealing it up for Arash, taking a huge component away from Alex's side of the field, making it very difficult. But he still has that
also so wie beide reagiert haben, doch.
Has to worry about the Clefairy though.
Yes, exactly. Clefairy able to have a good utility with something like a follow me and draw in all of those attacks. On Chien-Pao's side, things like the Sucker Punch, that will fail due to the follow me, Icicle Crash and Sacred Sword. While Clefairy doesn't really mind taking those, particularly the Sacred Sword, thanks to its Fairy typing.
Yeah, and you've got an active Fake Out here from the Incineroar here, so it has just come back onto
Ich weiß nicht, aber so wie die beiden reagiert haben, sah das so aus, als hätte der es normalerweise gelebt.
Down onto the Clefairy, knowing that it's not got any attacking options. Chien-Pao's not really threatened by it, so you could potentially get that Icicle Crash into it this turn, follow it up the next turn, and potentially remove that threat. Knowing that the Rillaboom's in the back as well, Arash still got one Pokemon to reveal. It makes it difficult to switch things around, especially if that final Pokemon is Ice Weak as well.
Exactly. Chien-Pao does have a lot of momentum, and knowing as well that you cannot drop it.
Electro Furia.
Does put it in this really strong commanding position, and I think Alex kind of going, hey, I've got Raging Bolt, I've got one of those too. Let me activate my Photosynthesis thanks to Booster Energy, and we'll also get a special attack boost. So it's going to be a formidable threat. Raging Bolt on Arash's side, as you mentioned, just going
Junge, dieses kleine Pipi
sure to burn through any
zwischen den ganzen
that could have come through from the Incineroar that was there a minute ago.
Yeah, and a really nice protect here from the Clefairy as
Das
well.
war Terra Feuer OBM, ne? Das
Urshifu. Going into the Raging Bolt there, just in case it didn't go for the protect, really catch it out.
Ja, okay, 101 bis 119, ja.
The Raging Bolt on Arash's side of the field is still really
Wenn es
threatened
Dings
by
war,
this Chien-Pao. The Clefairy obviously giving good support with that.
Wenn er komplett full invested in Modest ist und Urshifu kein Investment hatte, ist halt die Frage, ne? Wir kennen halt die Investments nicht. Ist ja, man spielt ja auf Urshifu auch häufig ein bisschen Bulk oder so. Also ist jetzt nicht unwahrscheinlich.
This is where things get very intense at this point in the competition. These trainers want to make sure that they are taking
Nee, Pipi ist hat schon deutlich mehr Usage als Pachirisu. Lebt, nicht gedingst.
It retaliates with the Dragon Pulse, does significant damage to that opposing Chien-Pao as the Raging Bolt on Alex's side utilizes this opportunity to go for a Calm Mind.
Aber es ist natürlich trotzdem, ne? Crit nimmt man trotzdem mit.
Yeah, that's a huge turn here for Alex going for that, but the Sing coming out from the Clefairy.
Welches eine mal Urshifu? Mystical Water. Also
saying no, you're not allowed to take advantage of those Calm Minds anymore.
I mean, that's one way to calm your mind. Take
Sing
a nap,
hit.
do you know what I mean? Like, just switch off your brain, relax
Sing is
for
halt
a minute,
so
and that's
disgusting.
really Clefairy's just trying to help out the opposing Raging Ball. What a fantastic turn for Arash Ommati.
Yeah, really paying off there because you see that turn play out, you think, why is the Follow Me not coming out? But because of that Friend Guard, the Raging Ball able to survive the initial
Protect auf Chien-Pao sehe.
The Sing paying off there, putting to sleep Chien-Pao
Aber
going
ich
for that protect this turn.
High risk, high reward, but that's what players need to do at this point. The Follow Me, the classic comes through from Clefairy, just drawing in all the attacks from his opposing Chien-Pao. Dragon Pulse, however, goes into the protect. Not going to be any damage dealt into that Clefairy here as the Raging Ball has to take a turn of sleep.
Ich glaube 55 sind ja. Nur seit 60 Sing musst du 55 haben.
Just a nice play there from Alex because although you are asleep, you've still got that defensive boost, so it is going to allow you to take those attacks a little bit better from the opposing Raging Bolt on Arash's side of the field, opting there for the Chien-Pao, not really going after the Raging Bolt because that is the target that you've got to go after. But the Clefairy is the primary thing that you're going to need to take down if you are Alex. You've got to hope that you do wake up.
Frage ist, wie viele Turns schläft Alex?
With that Calm Mind boost that you've got on the Raging Bolt, if it does wake up,
wechsel
not going to
raus,
see
okay.
it this turn though, might have been enough.
Yeah, seeing some adjustments from Alex, not wanting to run the rest of this Pokemon stays asleep. Let's bring the Incineroar onto the field. The Intimidate's relatively nice, but I think the key thing is to enable that Fake Out to help Chien-Pao out later on.
Oh, der Double Protect!
Yeah, and getting that double protect off, that's pretty huge here to allow it to come back onto the field. If it does get through this turn, it's going to have that active Fake Out, make it a bit easier for this Chien-Pao to get an additional
Das sind die Switches von
der
der Production.
Might be enough to get rid of the Raging Bolt, or at least do some good damage to that Clefairy.
Because the thing is, the Incineroar wants to go for the Fake Out into the Raging Bolt so that it cannot go for a potential Thunderclap or that Dragon Pulse that keeps trying to target down into that opposing Chien-Pao.
Warum geht jetzt auf Protect? Wegen Fake Out.
Okay, and then you can kind of set your sights down onto that Raging Bolt to close out the end game.
Yeah, and if you do predict the protect on that Raging Bolt here, you could maybe even double in on that Clefairy this turn with your Incineroar. Got Icicle Crash, Flare Blitz, and hope that that is going to be enough, especially with the Sword of Ruin ability active, that you can get rid of that support option. Then from there, your Chien-Pao in a great position to deal with that Raging Bolt, especially without that Friend Guard in support. So the Clefairy, the big thing that you need to really try and take advantage of here, especially with that fake out that was now active.
Honestly, Clefairy's putting in some work. Raging Bolt on Arash's side just going for the protect, as is the Clefairy. I think Arash being really calculated, knowing the fake out potential on Alex's side, and just trying to burn through them, not allowing Alex to be able to get momentum or the upper hand in this match. As you can see, Sucker Punch was coming out from the Chien Pao as well. It is going to fail thanks to the protects, but Alex is really just trying to get that priority on the board.
Die Frage ist Sucker Punch, wenn da... Ist es nicht ist es nicht eigentlich Elektro-Web? Elektro-Web Follow Me? Ist das nicht eigentlich der Play? Warum drückt er nicht Elektro-Web?
Again, lots of protects in this game. Both these players know when to switch on the offensive or play defensive. Clefairy once again drawing in those attacks with the Follow Me as Raging Ball once again goes for a Dragon Pulse into a protect. These players are trying so hard to get the knockouts, but are falling victim to these defensive plays. Incineroar, however, says, I've had enough of this. Let's get some damage on the board. Flare Blitz, big damage into the opposing Clefairy, and it's just able to hang on as well. Perfectly timed.
That's a huge play here from Alex to try and get a step closer to closing this game up.
Electro-Web kann missen.
Momentum swings for him.
Ja,
this turn here is going to be the key one because you just protected your Chien Pao. It's going to be time to potentially attack with it.
Jetzt wieder eine Double Protect bekommt. Auch riskieren. Ich weiß halt nicht. Ich glaube, Alex kämpft sich gerade mit jedem Turn back.
It's a tale as old as VGC time, seeing the Incineroar jump in and out of the field to intimidate and fake out later on. Once again,
und der
the Follow Me, but the Clefairy actually avoids the Ice Crash. But to no avail, the Dragon Pulse will connect this time, and it will be a knockout. Suddenly seeing a little bit of change in pace in this particular set.
Von einem 3-0-Start tut natürlich weh, ne? Domji ist auch gedroppt, actually. Als er 2-3 gegangen ist. 3-4-2, let's go! Wichtig! Rahim wird später, wir werden später sein Invite-Match sehen. Es wird passieren. Die sind schon fertig mit ihren Matches, hier steht es noch 0-0.
I think we know what's coming with this next turn. Incineroar's joined the field for Alex. There's going to be a fake out, so Arash is naturally going to go for the double protect. And although it is a very kind of safe play, it's optimal at the end of the day because unless you want to play that
ja, ich glaube, Domji geht nicht mehr für Worlds Invite.
It's really not to your benefit. So just going for the double protect, scouting out where the fake out's going, and what the partner Pokemon wants to do is an option for you. And of course, the Raging Bot on Alex's side is still sleeping, so we are going to see just the forfeit locked in.
Yeah, forfeit here from Alex here, not wanting to continue with this one, wants to reset as Arash takes game 1 in this round 6 tie-off.
Yes, amazing to see such a interesting end to that game, actually. At the beginning, there was a lot of offensive plays from both trainers, a lot of pressure being put on the board, but for me, the turn that really changed it around was when Clefairy went for Sing. You know, Alex was in a great position going for that Calm Mind, and you could really see him setting up towards the end game, trying to gain a little bit of dominance in the match and make that special defensive wall, but as well offensively pressured. Raging Bolt, things like the Dragon Pulse and the Thunderclap could have done a lot of damage to Arash's side. However, being put to sleep just really kind of stopped him, had to put him on the back foot a bit.
Yeah, and I do feel as well, a little bit like this Thunderclap, I think this is the turn here that we're recapping. The critical hit here was huge, I think, because of the terrestrialization on the Urshifu. I really feel, even though the defense drops had happened, it probably would have survived.
Sehen wir gleich Present? Nee.
Big bit of momentum.
Present wird nur noch gestreamt, wenn er seinen potenziellen Invite gedingst. Ja, und Kusha sehr, sehr sad. Von 3-0 in 3-3 tut weh. Tut mir sehr leid für ihn. Egal, aber die Punkte holt er sich trotzdem noch.
Alex again gain any momentum from that time on, and like our old buddy Adam would say, if you want to win the raffle, you got to buy the ticket.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Clefairy's definitely got a ticket for that front row there. It really was the thorn in Alex's side a bit because yes, it went for the Sing, but actually as I reflect on its interaction with the opposing Raging Bolt, it's not like the Raging Bolt can go
braucht nur 7 Punkte. Er muss aber trotzdem 6-3 gehen.
And then if you keep going for Follow Me, Thunderclap's going to keep failing. And actually taking a look at Clefairy, it has
Kusha braucht, glaube ich, aber auch nicht mehr viele Punkte, oder?
Actually, that Raging Bolt has
also Kusha muss auch, der kann auch 6-3 gehen und kriegt dann trotzdem sein Worlds Invite.
Yeah, it's a bit of a standoff there, isn't it? Because you're then relying on things like your Incineroar that you're going to bring, and then your Urshifu. So if your Urshifu goes down like it did there, and I think Arash keeping that in mind for maybe not having to rely on a critical hit going into this game too, but then planning around trying to take it down the best he can as quick as possible, then the options for Alex are very limited to dealing with that combination of the Raging Bolt and the Clefairy.
Naja, sicher, BM.
If you're really just relying on your Raging Bolt, it's your big offensive threat, then it's not really going to be the answer that you're looking for.
In Europa bisher ja, Dave.
Cognizant of the fact that a Raging Bolt Clefairy endgame wouldn't end so well, because neither Pokemon would be able to touch the other, and it would be a very interesting way of playing out Game 2, but let's hope that doesn't quite come to fruition. I think one other thing I want to really credit from both these players is the way they played with the protects.
Yeah, I think it was really pivotal throughout that match, a really good identification there, where there was real key turns where both players were trying to get into the right position. You had on one side Alex protecting that Chen Pao, getting the Incineroar onto the field, getting that fake out support active, and then on the other side of the field you had the Clefairy, and it was going for that Sing, the Raging Bolt maybe protecting, or the Clefairy protecting, double protecting when necessary to burn that fake out whenever Alex got it in position. But we are seeing a bit of a change up going into this game too, Lou.
Do you know what? I love this. The Golden Go coming for Alex, paired up with the Rillaboom and the Rillaboom of Arash Ommati's side. The Golden Go, a fantastic adaptation considering Clefairy gave Alex so much trouble. Why don't you have a Pokemon that can deal super effective damage to it with Make It Rain?
Yeah, and it's a really nice adaptation.
Ja, wieder keine Musik ausgewählt. Wollen die mich verarschen?
Clefairy like you did in that turn one. You've got to really prioritize getting rid of that Golden Go as soon as possible before you're able to utilize that Friend Guard, the Follow Me support, and even those cheeky Sings. So we'll see what goes on here. Of course, you've got the Urshifu out on the field at the moment. Does pressure a lot of damage onto that Goldingo with something like the Surging Strikes, but you have to be careful around the Rillaboom.
Wollen die mich verarschen?
Side of the field have active fake out here, although the one on Arash's side isn't going to really be able to take.
Ist ehrlich so, Dave, ne?
Goldingo that goes typing.
Yes, and Ogerpon coming onto the field as well. Another fantastic adjustment, being able to have that fire typing and a powerful Ivy Cudgel into either of Alex's.
Nein, da läuft ja keine Musik, leider. Die Spieler wählen die ganze Zeit als Track keine Musik aus. Das ist ja das große Problem.
And it can go for this nasty plot. Being a ghost type, I didn't even worry about that fake out.
Yeah, that's a really nice play there from the Goldingo. I mean, from Arash's side of things, going for the fake out into the Rillaboom, just keeping that Ogerpon safe in case maybe even a U-turn comes out onto that side of the field to position, pivot out. You're preventing that, and then you've got something on both sides of the field that are under pressure now going into this next turn from that Ogerpon that can apply a lot of pressure. Goldingo in particular doesn't want to waste that nasty plot here, so maybe a protect as we see a reposition.
I also like this adjustment here by Alex, bringing that Rillaboom out of here and bringing in a Pokemon that isn't going to worry about checking that opposing Ogerpon, is indeed going to be that Incineroar, an Ivy Cudgel, or even any Grass type move is not going to be anything that Incineroar is going to worry about. I think Golden Go wisely going for the protect as well.
Muss schon sein. Ohne Musik wirkt es so goofy.
I love this play. I was going to say allows Alex a bit of protection, but then Arash can
Wait,
capitalize
spielt
on
der
that
Focus-Energy?
Focus energy. The critical hits are going to be fierce. This is something Alex has to watch out for.
Yeah, and this is really dangerous here because the
Focus-Energy, wie cool.
And the Goldingo almost going to be forced into Terrestrialize.
Das ist ja übercool.
This next turn, you've got the Incineroar positioned well.
Das ist ja überstrong.
To go along with that Goldingo, so making sure you've got the fake out into that Ogerpon this next turn, so you can potentially get a Make It Rain off. Now the Clefairy has to be very careful here, but it's an easy turn for Arash just to say, okay, this is fine. I can just go for the Spiky Shield and then the Protect, burn your fake out, and then
Focus-Energy, Ogerpon fühl dich.
Going into this next turn where I've got the Follow Me with my Clefairy again, and then I've got this Ivy Cudgel that I can throw out into your Goldingo with my Ogerpon.
And this is where things get very interesting. That Golden Go being able to have been boosted up is now actually leaving the field. It's in too vulnerable a position, and Alex brings in its Water type in the face of a potential Ivy Cudgel. As soon as Clefairy joined the field, it's actually left us as well in replacement of this Rillaboom, which is fantastic positioning for Arash, identifying that the Water type's going to join the field, so I need my Grass type there to be able to apply pressure to it.
Yeah, and I think
spielt sehr gut, ja.
Not opting. This is a brave decision here from Alex, predicting maybe a double protect here, going for that.
Der hat sein eigenes Pokémon geparty geschottet.
To make sure that it is off the field.
Junge, sowas feier ich.
And you can get the Rillaboom back onto the field now in a position where you've got
sowas feier ich.
out again. You can slow down that Ogerpon on the other side of the field and maybe even reposition the Urshifu out for the Incineroar this turn to drop another Intimidate.
I mean, you can understand that, right? Arash has been going for those double attacks the whole way
cool.
through the set, so it was a wise prediction, but really interesting to always see those side kind of afflicting moves happen in order to get that ball position. The Rillaboom's in prime position on the field now as well. If I remember correctly, I think Arash's is the faster, but we might have to double check that interaction.
Yeah, I think the faster of the two, so you have to be a little bit careful here, but it's so easy for Alex here just to protect the Urshifu.
Alex muss so viel hin und her switchen gerade, das ist so insane.
Going to drop that Intimidate. Although the thing is about the focus energy, don't really worry about the Intimidate.
Ja. Wenn crittet, dann jucken den die Drops überhaupt nicht.
Be able to do as much damage as you needed to, and we are going to see the Terrestrialization kicked in here.
I honestly think it's a stroke of genius because, as you've mentioned, the critical hit will negate any of those drops, and although we see a lot of Swords Dance Ogerpon, you still need that critical hit in order to be able to, if you've taken a lot of Intimidates, for example, be able to go through. So it's really interesting to see that come into play. The Fake Out comes through from the Rillaboom as the Ogerpon does
wie viel macht das?
into the Incineroar that switched in.
Das war kein
Does
Crit.
a significant chunk of damage with that critical hit, but Incineroar going to be able to take that really well thanks to his typing.
Yeah, the Terrestrialization here from the Urshifu really nice. It is going to be able to do a decent amount of damage to the Ogerpon on the opposite side of the field now. I'm not really going to have to worry.
Kann Ogerpon nicht terran.
So in a pretty comfortable position. You just need to be able to manage it better this game than what happened last game. You don't want to get taken down to a critical hit like it did with that Raging Bolt from Arash in Game 1. And I feel like in this position as well, you resist.
Ja, aber ich glaube, Rillaboom wird gefake-outet.
So you can pretty comfortably sit in front of it and try and get some big damage.
Nein, geht gar nicht mit Fake-out.
Second Ivy Cudgel being a little bit more precarious towards that Incineroar with another guaranteed critical hit here thanks to the focus energy as Urshifu goes for the surging strikes. This will also give out
das killt, warte. Das killt.
Looks like it's going to be enough.
It will be enough. The final and third one is enough to take down the Zone.
Ja, 3 Crits, aber auch lucky.
Critical hit twice into the Incineroar. You can see the damage that it's doing there, but Incineroar doing a great job.
Ja, genau, Dave. Genau. Als er sein eigenes Stack-Attacker gekillt hat mit Second Sword, das war schon das Krasseste.
There was so much effort that Arash put into that Ogerpon, but unfortunately, it really didn't get to dominate through it. It just went for 2 Ivy Cudgels into the opposing Incineroar, not really able to get any knockouts or get some big damage on the board. Arash has to reassess now.
Yeah, and one of the ways he can reassess is with his own Urshifu.
Sein Rillaboom macht halt legit nix. Junge, wo ist der Screen? Warum ist der Screen so weit weg? Hä, wo ist denn der Screen? Warum sieht denn das so scheiße aus?
Alex not in the best position because of that fire typing, the water typing.
Okay, seht ihn da.
It's huge here. Now the Clefairy coming in, you've got to deal with that. Of course, you've got to those follow me's and the friend god. But you're in a decent position here with that Rillaboom still intact in the back to bring onto the field and not really have to worry too much. Of course, you have to worry about the close combats, but if you are committing to close combats, then maybe gives your own Urshifu a little bit of room to close combat back in return to try and get some damage off onto the Urshifu. If you could stall out,
okay. Wechselt durch, voraus geht der Rillaboom. Das sieht nicht gut aus für Arash. Kannst du Oma Yubi.
Clefairy has no attacking moves,
and
what can a Rillaboom realistically do to an opposing Golden Go? So it's a very interesting position that Arash is in at the moment with Alex seeming to be firmly in the driving seat. Here does return the Golden Go, a double swap actually.
Yeah, we've got
Marcus field 2.
From Arash's side of the field, and it's likely going to be on to that Urshifu, which is the water Terra type, boosting those surging strikes that it has access to alongside the Aqua Jet. And it has got the Ice Punch, it hasn't got close combat. We identified that at the start of the match, and the surging strikes is what this Urshifu is opting for into the Rillaboom, but because of that burn not picking up as much damage as what Arash would like to be seeing.
Yeah, even without the burn, it's a tall order for the Urshifu into an opposing Rillaboom, but that really is negligible damage for a move that does 3 critical hits.
Und deswegen Alex ist so abgefuckt. Er ist so mad.
Go for something like that Ice Punch in the next turn, but the burn's hard.
The burn is really hard, and the Sing hitting once again is huge for Arash because you're bringing the Rillaboom onto the field if you're Alex with that active fake out to potentially slow down the Urshifu this next turn. Put the Clefairy in a really awkward position, and by doing that, you've got the opportunity to then go for a nasty shot. And from then on out, you've got the pivot to the Incineroar, and you can really start to try and craft a win position with that Goldingo and pressure and remove that Clefairy pretty easily. But the Sing really putting a spanner in the works here for Alex. Got a lot to do as the helping hand comes out from this Clefairy.
Yeah, everything needs to be happening for this Urshifu right now. The Rillaboom is, of course, going to be taking a nap, not able to go for any of his priority moves here in this turn. As Urshifu goes for the Surging Strikes, it is Terra Water boosted, it is helping hand boosted. But there is also a burn, so it is
Burn ist halt nicht so geil, aber ist guter Schaden.
To the opposing Golden Go. Another Surging Strikes will be able to get the knockout afterwards, as long as Golden Go doesn't have anything to do too tricksy in this turn.
Yeah, and if we are going to see it return with a Shadow Ball here, not wanting to go for the Make-It Rain just yet, just get some decent damage onto that Urshifu. But you saw how much the Surging Strikes did. The burn really helping it survive here.
Frage ist, ob Rillaboom hier aufwacht.
It does have grassy terrain in effect, but the problem is with that Unseen Fist ability, you can't really protect it.
Goldingo kann hier eigentlich Protect, wenn er Protect hat, ne? Mit Leftovers, grassy terrain und so.
And you need to be able to remove the Urshifu before you feel like you can really move forward in this match with the Goldingo to close things out.
The question is whether the Urshifu needs the helping hand now in order to get that knockout on the opposing Golden Go. Clefairy is in an interesting spot where it cannot go for something like a Sing into the opposing Golden Go, thanks to its good as gold ability, not allowing
Sing in Rillaboom
so Clefairy really can't do too much to Golden Go at this point. It could go for a Follow Me, however, try and draw in a Shadow Ball, but then if Golden Go goes for the Make It Rain, that's going to be a difficult spot for Clefairy, as well as, you know, wasting a turn when you could have gone for the helping hand, let's say.
Yeah, and I think if you don't go for the Follow Me, you risk taking a Grassy Glide. If that
really sehe ich. Ich glaube, er muss hier Follow Me drücken.
Detriment to Arash at this point, so it's safer just to go for that Follow Me. We are seeing that with the Surging Strike, like you said.
Dürfte jetzt da, ja, aber Goldingo kannst du nicht schlafen
very
liegen.
Close. That's 1, 2 is going to be scary, and it's going to be enough.
It was close though, and particularly with that burn, you never can fully calculate how debilitating it's going to be until you see it in action.
Ausrufezeichen EUIC nach die. Michi natürlich 5-0. Der wird aktuell noch nicht durchgeschüttelt von dir.
Another turn asleep for the opposing Rillaboom here. Now, the issue is how do you now deal with the Rillaboom?
Rillaboom schläft immer noch.
Wants to keep putting it to sleep. I don't see, other than the Ice Punch, what the Urshifu can do.
Yeah, and because you are burnt as well, the Ice Punch, even held and hand boosted, is really going to be probably cutting it. I think if you stall out the grassy terrain, it probably will help you.
Benefit 2, true.
For the Rillaboom at this stage to maybe just switch out to something in the back.
Schade, kein 5-1 leider.
Okay.
Muss Dennis und Flo noch 4-2 gehen. Herr Domji ist doch nicht gedroppt. Da stand eben noch Drop, jetzt steht da nicht mehr Drop. Wer ist Benny? Yonago. Spotted Hirnq als Fake-Out.
If we really analyze the way Arash has played this set, there's a fake out on the field, very likely to see the double protect come through on Arash's side, and I think that's what we can see him locking in here. Of course, Alex will be able to capitalize on that, and the thing is, you can then burn through another turn of sleep on that Rillaboom. So I understand why Arash is doing it, but as you can see, Alex
aber eben stand bei Domji noch Drop dran.
You out here and make an adjustment, bring my Fire Urshifu onto the field, and allow one turn of sleep to go through on my Rillaboom. So hopefully it's going to wake up soon.
Yeah, we are going to see the double protect here. Clefairy just not want to take any damage here as it is joyfully going for another protect in front of
Ja, Kusha leider von 3-0 into 3-3, das ist echt Zeit.
It does wake up, trying to get that U-turn off. So,
it does.
Into the Urshifu. Here he is going to be able to get the Incineroar back onto the field and have that active fake out. This is a great.
Hat er gerade U-turn auf sein Urshifu eingesetzt? Junge, das ist so wild, ne?
Honestly, consistency can be key, but sometimes it can be.
Das ist so crazy, wie Alex es spielt.
Alex reading so perfectly how Arash is playing that
das
out.
Ist so crazy.
Intimidate down on the field. Fake outs back in. I mean, Arash, what are you going to do? Double protect again? It's too risky.
Und jetzt kann Arash nicht double protecten.
Where you can go for it into the Clefairy, prevent that Follow Me for at least a turn, or you can go for the fake out into the Urshifu, go for the Surging Strike into the Clefairy, try and get damage off there. But if you're confident that your Urshifu, if you're Alex, outspeeds Arash's, then you can go for the fake out in the Clefairy, stop that Follow Me, and then go for that close combat into the opposing Urshifu. potentially pick up a knockout and take one step closer to clinching this set and tying it up, take it into a game 3.
That was such a beautiful turn. The fact that the Rillaboom also woke up, could go for that self U-turn, and critically Alex identifying that the one thing Arash doesn't want is fake out on the field. And
aber es kommt doch Fake Out von Incineroar, oder nicht?
Clefairy able to bypass with priority, that helping hand, but to no avail. The fake out went down into the Urshifu. There will be no damage coming out on Arash Ommati's side of the field. However, Alex Gómez is going to try with a surging strike into the opposing Urshifu, but is not going to be able to get the KO this particular turn.
Not this turn, but you've got to say that the
ja, Sing mit Pipi wäre es gewesen wahrscheinlich.
It's not going to be enough to pick up the knockout, and especially with the grassy terrain in effect here, really helping heal up that damage. It's a nice play there from Alex, where he's able to kind of capitalize on a situation.
Was heißt war klar, ne? Alex spielt schon crazy. Ah, Dennis ist auch 3-3. Aber Flo ist 4-2. Ah, Dennis ist auch leider raus. Und Donji ist 2-4. Aber Stomny ist auch 2-4. Michi 5-1, ja. Crazy. Okay, nächste Runde wird sehr interessant. Reim steht 4-2.
Urshifu on the opposing side, but that Rillaboom, as you said, Lee, is sneaky in the back. It could easily come through. So possibly you want to use Clefairy to go for a Sing into that slot.
Nächste Runde wird hart.
It's been pretty accurate so far in this set, and even if, you know, there is the switch, then Rillaboom might be taking another nap in this set.
Yeah, and I think that's something that you would risk if you're Alex here, because the Sting's so low accuracy. We are seeing that Incineroar switch out for that Rillaboom. It is going to come back onto the field now, and it will have that fake out active.
Das war auch reinfällen, weit nochmal 6-3. Mit 5-4 hat er auch eine Chance. Aber 6-3 wäre schon besser. Aquajet.
But instead the Aquajet on Alex's side, it's not enough though. Tries to be able to get the knockout before Urshifu on Arash's side can move, but no. Arash will be able to go down into the opposing Urshifu and knock it out.
Even with that burn, going to be enough to 2-hit KO with that help.
Das wird hier nochmal ein Krimi, ne?
On Alex's side of the field, going down this war of attrition.
Das wird hier nochmal echt wild.
Urshifus, Arash has come out victorious here, and a row taking a step closer to closing this game out.
You've got to credit this Grassy Terrain. That friend guard ability coming in clutch, being able to enable its partner Urshifu to take that Aquajet. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to take too much more. However, that burn is ticking away. The HP is incredibly low on that Urshifu, and Alex still has that Incineroar. Now, Arash might want to go for a double protect.
Detected jetzt.
Can he even afford to with the burn?
Danach drückt der Follow Me, der jetzt auf Protect Detect. Dann drückt der Follow Me. Und dann wird er noch dieses Incineroar wegboxen. Oder nicht? Ich glaube, der gewinnt den Shit hier noch.
I think from there you might be able to weave in and out with your own Rillaboom, the Clefairy support as well, to deal with that remaining Rillaboom. That's one way to look at it at least, but we're going to see how things play out here, Lou.
Well, as usual, Arash going for the double protect here. Alex Gómez is down to his last 2 remaining Pokemon, so we cannot see any switching shenanigans here, although Rillaboom is trying to go for the U-turn just for the damage.
Sind die Day 2, Dodo?
No fake out from this Incineroar, of course. Instead went on to the offensive with that Flare Blitz, and you can really see Alex kind of going, this Clefairy is really causing me some trouble. It's caused me trouble all set. I want to get rid of it now, but it's going to stick around for at least one more turn.
Yeah, and one more turn is probably one turn too many for Alex here.
Müssen jetzt Group spielen. Okay.
Follow me this next turn. It's going to pull
Aber wild.
Any grass type attack from the Rillaboom,
Sind
any
die heute
fire
noch?
type attack from this Incineroar, and it's likely both of them. They might be able to pick up the knockout onto it, but will that be enough for the Urshifu then in this situation to potentially get
okay, ja, Surging Strikes into Incineroar und Follow Me. Und dann wird er jetzt 3 Minutes left.
Being so useful as a supporting Pokemon, going for that Follow Me, bringing in the Grassy Glide, not taking too much damage from it, but most importantly protecting the Urshifu, so it can go for these Surging Strikes into the Incineroar.
Und das killt Incineroar. Und damit gewinnt es Arash wahrscheinlich. Crazy. Dieses Pipi und alles, ne? Ist insane. Und Urshifu lebt weiter. Der lebt einfach weiter.
The redemption arc for Arash Ommati in this game too has been incredible. Alex Gómez was in such a strong position, but I think when that golden go went down, that's when things really started to unravel. The battle is
Alex hat aufgegeben. Er muss so mad sein, Junge.
This is an incredible win from Arash, and like you said,
the
whole theme of this whole game has been the Clefairy.